Welcome back. Where is this not on? You hear it? Can you hear me?
No.
Can't hear myself either. I hear you. There it is.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. That was different.
Good start.
Yeah, no idea what happened there, but lost a little sound there for a second. Anyway, welcome back to the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. I am Chris Witt. With me, as always, is my cousin Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
I'm so very excellent. How are you?
I am wonderful. If I was any better, I would be you.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I feel like that's how I always react to that because I don't really know what else to say, so I just go, oh.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's about how I feel. If you're friends with us on Facebook, you can catch us here live every Wednesday, 10:30, or catch us on all your favorite platforms Thursday morning when you wake up. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, CastBox, SoundCloud. You can catch Adam on Twitter at
Adam Schmidt 44.
And I'm at Sick With It, which I still got to figure out how to do the tweeting. I'm not the best tweeter. I just don't think about it. I don't think anybody gives three craps about what I have to say. But there you go. If you want to follow us and get very little on your timeline, go right ahead.
Nobody really cares about what anybody has to say on there, so it's not like anybody cares less about what you have to say than anybody else. So
Sure.
Just throw it on there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Why not? Why not? All right.
I care, buddy. I care about what you have to say.
I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe
do.
it for a second. All right. Yeah. Let's see. You can also catch us on Facebook. Search Nosebleed Sports Podcast. Please, however you listen, hit the subscribe button. Hit us up with some comments. We got nosebleedsports.com coming soon. Hopefully, if we can ever figure out how the internet works and how to design a web page, we'll be there for that. So that'll be fun and interesting. So Adam, we got a big show today, brother.
Yes, we do.
We got big things going on in college basketball already, and conference play hasn't even started. The NFL is getting tighter. We get closer to the end of the season there. Crazy finish in Miami the other night where Miami does the old hook and ladder play to take down New England, which was an absolute blast to watch. Anytime you get to see New England lose like that, it's always fun.
Well, I don't care if it's New England or not, but the play that doesn't work 99.99% of the time worked.
You hear all these guys talking about it, and all these former NFL players saying, "Yeah, you run that every week at the end of the week in shorts and a t-shirt, and you just have fun. You try to get it to a lineman so they can run down. There's no defense. Just have fun with it." And it's Kenyon Drake. Is that his name?
Sure.
Boy, he had what set it off was there was an offensive guard who came down, and they were I think Ted something anyway. He went down, made a huge block, but what I think did it was he made a fake pitch. He faked the lateral. Everybody bid on it, and he just took off. It was beautiful. I love it.
Very nice.
Was
it Ted Turner?
Ted Turner might have been who it was, yeah.
Was it Ted Danson?
I feel like it would have been Ted Turner if it was the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, yeah. You're probably right.
Isn't he an Atlanta guy?
Yeah. Was it
Turner
Ted Danson?
Might have been. Yeah,
Okay.
Ted Danson. I feel like, cheers, Ted Danson. Yeah.
Was it Teddy Ruxpin?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Just
No idea.
Trying all the Teds.
No idea. All right, we also got baseball winter meetings we're going to go over, and of course we got the NBA season where my Lakers are 15-5 over the last 20 games. LBJ bringing it in. We got plenty to talk about LeBron and KD later on.
My Lakers,
baby. Hey, why not?
You can have them.
I'll take them. I will take them. I'm excited. I'm excited for a Lakers-Raptors finals this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be tonight's matchup, Raptors-Golden State Warriors, going on right now.
That could be. And we'll check in with that game a little bit later.
We will. See
what's going on with that. Speaking of NBA, the Nosebleed Sports Podcast does we got a poll every week. This poll is officially over.
It is a tournament of sorts.
It's a tournament of sorts. The finals is completed. And Elfrid Payton takes down Elfrid Payton and the umbrella hair takes down Lonnie Walker the fourth with his floating hat
Yes.
in the worst NBA hairstyles Nosebleed Sports Podcast poll. How about that?
Yep.
So
That's
congratulations to Elfrid Payton, man. That's a big deal to win this.
Blew him out in the championship.
Blew him out. Don Mossy, Don Mossy and Willie McGee, who went at it and tied in the ugliest Major League Baseball player poll that we had. Now joining them is Elfrid Payton. Next week we'll try to get something new for you and get back into that. All right, so before we get into sports today, I want to talk about real life situations.
Okay.
Uncomfortable things that happen to you in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened to you lately that's been a little nasty or a little funny?
I'm glad you said nasty because this is gross. So a lot of people don't like feet, right? Feet are gross.
Feet are gross. Nobody likes feet.
Okay, so mine aren't. I don't think hideous, but they're not attractive whatsoever. They're not attractive whatsoever. So for whatever reason, the second toe on both of my feet, but they're not attractive.
I do that every time.
Curve out pretty badly.
Yeah,
and they're very disfigured and disformed, and it looks gross. And it actually has made the rest of the toes after that, on down to the pinky toe, kind of like curve out a little bit because it's like put pressure on them, and over the years they all kind of like curve out a little bit. But the second one on each foot, pretty equally, almost like not quite a 90-degree angle, but pretty badly curve out. So I was playing basketball the other night, right? And
nothing new.
And I guess I didn't realize because I don't pay that close attention to it all the time. It's just one of those things I don't really think about. I guess I didn't cut my toenails in a while, which is only the beginning of how disgusting this is. So if you really hate feet and you're disgusted by this, turn your volume up a little bit.
Keep it on.
Turn your volume up a little bit.
Keep going. Let's hear what happened with this. So you got long nails on a crooked toe.
Long nails on a crooked toe, and I get home from playing basketball. Right, I didn't feel it. My feet and my legs always hurt.
Sure.
So I didn't think anything of it. So I'm even like, I get home, I stretch real good because I'm having all these problems with my legs and everything. I'm kind of like sitting around for a few minutes. So finally I get up to go get a shower, right? Take my socks off. I'm in the bathroom. I look down, blood on both of my feet, on both of my toes, where the toenail on the second toe made the exact same cut into my third toe on both feet. So I had the exact same cut on the exact same toe, same amount of blood. It looked like identical, like I did it on purpose somehow. So long toenails on disfigured toes, cut into my other toes and make them bleed. So I hope you're not eating while you're listening to this.
This is everyday life things that happen to people all the time. People just don't talk about it, you know. And bloody feet, that's pretty gross. But I think I can one up you.
Really?
Yes, I think I can one up you.
Grosser than that.
Grosser for sure.
More gross than that.
More gross, grosser, however you want to put it.
Mr. Grosser than that.
Listen, I'm a pretty nasty dude, and I got no problem telling you how nasty it is. All right, so I'm a salesman, and I drive around all day. That's kind of what I do. I had a guy a long time ago who told me it'd be a good idea to always keep a change of clothes in your car. You spill coffee on yourself, blah, blah, blah. Always have a change, drawers, socks, shirt, pants, the whole 9 yards.
Great advice.
Great advice. So I found out why that was great advice the other day.
Oh.
So it all starts out in the morning. You ever had one of those mornings? Well, you probably hadn't because you don't drink draft beer ever, but sometimes you drink some draft beer and you get these real loud, smelly farts in the morning, but you can just let them rip for a minute and they go. I had some good farts going in the morning. It was awesome.
Oh.
I love big, loud farts. Okay. Love it.
Sure.
I'm like a 5-year-old kid. Crack up. It's so funny.
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
They are. So anyway, I am in the car, and I was like, ooh, I think I got to drop a deuce on the way. About an hour from the house, stop in a Kroger's, drop a deuce, go to my stop, talk to the guys I got, hang out. About an hour from the house, remember?
Okay.
Heading home, or not heading home, heading to the next place, and call into the office. And as I'm on the phone, I decide I'm going to let one of these farts go.
Mm-hmm.
The old never trust a fart. That is no joke.
Oh.
I am on the phone with this guy, and I was like, oh, boy. I just shipped my pants.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about the Kmart commercial.
My goodness.
I totally crap my pants right there, driving on a major highway on the way down the road. It was hilarious. So obviously I didn't follow the guy's advice and put a pair of drawers and pants in my car. So I'm sitting in the car, and I have my butt lifted up off the seat.
Oh my.
Clenched gluteus, because just let a bubble out, but it was a wet bubble. It wasn't. And I'm clenched. So I'm trying to figure out what to do at this point in time. So driving, 60 miles an hour or whatnot, I managed to get my pants off. Okay.
While you're driving?
While I'm driving.
No way.
I then am able to get my underwear off without getting myself nasty. It was a little spot in there. Proceed to wipe my ass while I'm driving with my underwear, the dry, clean parts of the underwear. Get that back over, throw the pants back on, able to get back home, get myself some drawers. I even changed my pants too, and
I hope
I went back on my way. Totally cleaned myself up, everything good to go on the way. It was a wonderful experience, and I will forever have a pair of. I now have baby wipes in my car now. Since then, I now have two pairs of underwear and a pair of pants in my car. Pairs. Listen, hey,
having that happen would make you.
That happens once, brother. You're gonna make sure you have a second pair with you all the time. So yeah, the old Kmart commercial. I can ship my pants. You can ship your pants anywhere you want. I did it right in my car.
Ship with a P.
Ship with a P. Yes, ship with a P. Yeah, it's a funny commercial. So yeah,
how about
that?
That is an event of a lifetime there. I mean, that may never happen again in your life.
Can I say the skill it takes to continue 60, 65 miles an hour with cars on either side, making sure that you are either forward enough or behind enough to somebody can't see you in there with your pants off. Got my pants off and my drawers, wiped my butt, and put my pants back on, all while continuing to drive.
I have so many questions for you.
Go ahead, whatever you got. I'm an open book.
Number one, you are not just a professional salesman; you are a professional driver. And that was evidenced by
if you can wipe your butt while you drive.
If you can take your pants off while you drive.
See, I've been doing that forever, though.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, that sounds weird. I used to all the time have to go straight from work to softball or to like a basketball game or something, and I would change in the car on the way there because I was always going 100 miles an hour trying to get to the game. So I'd have to put my jock strap on and everything. So I got to get completely down, put my sliding shorts on, jock strap, all while driving.
So you don't do that in the restroom of the place you are leaving from. You do that while you are driving, which might be worse than texting while you're driving.
How? No. Man, I'm a professional.
I get you because you can keep your eyes on the road and change your pants.
Yeah, I can keep my eyes on the road, ship my pants, call in an order, wipe, take my pants off, get pants back on. I can do it all, brother.
Here's the next question.
Okay,
you took your pants off and wiped your behind.
Yeah.
While driving a car.
Yeah.
Which I'm astonished by.
With said underwear that already had a crap mark in them.
Mark, you call it a mark? It was a bubble.
It was a bubble.
It was a bubble.
There's a little,
which is
there's a
even
little
more
juice in there.
disgusting.
There's a little juice in there.
You just called it a bubble with some juice, and that is about the most disgusting way to describe what came out. So, but my question is, any big truck, any semi truck, a van, anything? Well, you drive an SUV.
I do, yes.
So you're not like real low. You're not in a compact car or anything. But there are vehicles where they have drivers and passengers that are above where you are.
100%. There's trucks on this road all the time I was on. I am, like I said, I can avoid, and I had my coat. I'd already taken my coat off. So I can, at that point in time, if need be, truck coming up or I got to pass something, I'd throw the coat over top, continue going. People look in, just looks like I got a coat on my lap.
Do you have one of those self-driving cars?
Yeah, my knee.
Yeah.
I self-drive my car with my knee.
You drove with a foot on the gas, a knee on the steering wheel, and you
naked. Not buck naked. I had a shirt on, but yeah, naked from the waist down, wiping my butt because I just pooped my pants.
And you changed your own diaper while you were driving.
Yeah,
that's a skill that I number one have never even really thought about, but number two am just blown away. I'm just blown away that you are that skilled. But I'm not talking about it. Okay, so you mentioned it. So you could throw a coat over the top or whatever.
Yeah,
and that's what you did.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you are a guy that wouldn't care anyway. You want to see the goods.
Honestly, I don't. I'm just trying not to get arrested at this point in time.
No, that's a good.
You know what I mean? Like this is a public deal. I really don't care. I go up to the urinal. Somebody walks up next to me. I got no idea. If you want to look at this little thing, peek over the top. I don't care.
Because number twoing in your car is an offense that That is.
Hey, listen.
That requires
and if the cop would have, and if I would have
2 to 4 years in jail.
Hey,
for a squirt in the car.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I think I was about 4 or 5 years old last time I pooped my pants.
Yeah.
And now I can honestly say I was 35 years old, and it was less than a week ago, Monday to be exact.
That's a beautiful.
When was
story.
the last time you dropped a deuce in your drawers? Or even just a little, ooh, when that you try to pinch that thing off real quick, and you're like, oh, I missed it. Ooh. And I didn't miss it, buddy. I missed it by a bit. It wasn't like I just had a skid mark. I had some flavor in there, dude. You had some flavor in there.
You had a juice bubble.
Yeah. It was a little, it was a.
Holy smokes, this is the most disgusting thing we've ever talked about. But I'm just amazed by the whole thing.
Yeah.
By the fact that it happened, by how you took care of it, the skill to drive and to change.
The thing that there's no skill in driving your car and changing your pants. The skill comes in wiping your butt that you just pooped in your drawers in while driving
with the same ones that you went in.
Exactly, and making sure that your hand was in a clean spot. Number one. And number two, you're wiping with a clean spot. All while keeping your eyes on the road, 60 miles an hour, no pants on. I'm telling you.
That's, boy, I mean, let me ask you this.
Okay.
That's a different sensation, wiping with the fabric of some drawers than wiping with some toilet paper. Did that feel better, worse? How did it compare?
I gotta tell you, man. Lately, I got
a
5-year-old that's been we got these flushable wipes for him. Half the time I use those now. So
yeah,
there's nothing that beats that. It's the cleanest my buttocks has ever felt.
I bought some of those a while ago, and they've been on the back of my toilet, just there, ready to go.
Yeah,
I still have not tried them.
You got to.
I've heard great
rear
things.
end has never felt cleaner.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Man.
Give it a go. Give it a go. Used it today. Use them today.
I'm gonna have to.
But I can tell you that you're like, I had a pair of boxer briefs on. The boxer brief material, just like toilet paper.
Okay.
Maybe a little softer. I don't know.
So cotton. It's like a cotton, probably.
I was so focused on the road that I really couldn't tell you exactly how the wipe felt. I just know it cleaned. It did its job.
And you focused. I mean, that's a lot of paperwork there. That's if you're in a situation like that. Yeah. Where it's a little on the viscous side, where it's a little wet.
Yeah.
that's not like a one little wipe and you're good.
Oh no!
A standard number 2.
It was a wipe, a fold, a wipe, and then a fold, and then a wipe, and a crumble into a ball. Throw on the floor of the passenger side.
Jeez. You threw it on the floor?
What am I going to do with it? I got those plastic mud mats. Fine. Rinse them off.
Oh, I will never be in your car again. I'll never be in your car.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to sit in the back seat if I ever get in
You
your
don't
car.
want to know what's been in the back seat.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to ride on the roof.
There you go.
We're going to reinvent the scene in Teen Wolf where he's standing on top of the van.
All right, so that's. I just wanted to get that out there because I feel like that's happened to more people. If this has happened to you and you're listening to this podcast, if you've ever let a fart go and oops, it was a little too much and you dropped a turd in your drawers, driving like I did, or just in general, throw a comment in on this. Yeah, let's get together and not be embarrassed by it.
See, that's the thing. Let me tell you that most people that would happen to, not only would they not tell anyone, I mean, they sure wouldn't broadcast it on a podcast.
Dude, I was on the phone with one guy. The best part is the guy I was on the phone with immediately said to me, he goes, "Huh, I keep a pair of underwear in my car all the time in case that happens." Awesome. I should have listened to this guy a long time ago and kept drawers in my car. Instead, I had to go home and get a new pair of drawers. Anyway, I called probably 5 or 6 people cracking up about it.
You called me, and I think I missed your call.
I was calling people as I was wiping.
Oh my God.
I was doing the, "Hey Siri, call so and so,"
because you ran out of hands and you ran out of limbs to take care of things.
Listen, I don't like to text and drive and stuff. You know, I can wipe and drive, but I like to use the hands free whenever I can. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm a safe driver.
As a salesperson, I imagine most people would. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're a safe driver. You're a smelly driver.
The car didn't stink as bad as I thought it would.
Is that right?
No, it didn't smell as bad as I thought it would.
Did you drive around with the windows down the rest of the day?
Not the rest of the day, but it was I think I had the heat on.
Did you drive? Oh my God! You hotboxed yourself in there.
100%.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I totally did. Hey, look.
I smell it right now just talking about this.
Well, I don't want to get too deep into this. I just want you to leave a comment if it's we're 20 minutes in, man. I just want you to leave a comment if this has happened to you. That's all I'm asking, because I feel like we should get out there and embrace
pooping in your
not
pants as an
trusting
adult.
a fart. Exactly. I'm not saying like somebody drops an entire crap. So the guy who told me to do this, what happened to him was he had some bad grub the night before, drove from Louisville to Dayton for a presentation, did the presentation, went to Home Depot parking lot to get a quick little nap because he didn't feel good, woke up to a load in his whole car. Completely blew his whole car away.
What?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
I don't know. He should have crapped himself in the car. Hey, listen, it happens to the best of us. Comment. Anyway, like, subscribe, get in here, and we'll go from there. All right. I think.
Speaking of crappy, let's talk about the Bengals.
Talk about the Bengals. We're only going to do this real quick because we do picks every week. We're going to go ahead and throw our picks out there. Let everybody not take anything we do. Adam, how did we do last week?
Well, you will be happy to know.
Did I gain a game?
You gained 2 games.
Yeah, I'm right back in this thing.
You were 2-1. I was 0-3 on the week, which brings our totals to 21-18 on the season for me, 13-26 for you. But your arrows up. Your arrows pointing up.
How many wins do you have?
I have 21.
And I'm 13.
You have 13.
We have 3 weeks left.
There are 3 weeks left.
All right, let's do this. You got to go over, and I got to get them all.
You can't.
Yeah, I can.
I
got 9 games. I got
here.
You're right. I get to 22.
So you got 8.
I get to 22.
It's an 8.
And you lay an egg.
Yep.
every week. All right, let's do it. Come
All
on.
right. I'm feeling even more confident about that now that we figured that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And I got to shave my face because this crosstown shootout we're going to talk a little bit. I'm losing bets left and right. All right, what do we got here?
All right. So, do you
I'm
want me
gonna
to
go
go first?
first. No, I'm going first.
You go first.
And I'm going first, and I'm starting with tomorrow's game. I'm taking the the Chiefs minus 3.5 at home. This Chiefs team is going to blow the Chargers out. Chargers almost lost to a Bengals team that's absolutely horrible, and with 13 penalties or something ridiculous like that. I'm taking the Chiefs at home. Also, I am going to take Tampa Bay in Baltimore plus 7.5. It's just too much. I don't think that's. I still think Baltimore wins that game, but 7.5 is too much for me. I'm going to take the hook on that, and then we'll finish it out. I really need to start looking at these beforehand. Let's see who we got here. All right, let's go with, man, I'm going to take Philly against the Rams plus 10.5.
God, that's the spread, 10.5.
That's where it's at right now, yeah. So what do you got?
Okay. For me, I also have the Chiefs,
Okay.
the minus 3.5. I've got Seattle at San Francisco, 5.5 point favorite. Seattle, I'm taking them. Detroit at Buffalo. Detroit is a 2.5 point underdog at Buffalo, so I'm going to take the Detroit to win the game.
Okay.
So obviously,
Gotcha.
cover that.
Cover it. All right.
There it is. Kansas City, Seattle, Detroit for me.
There we
Kansas
go.
City, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia for you.
So that pretty much kills me. All you have to do is take the same teams. I need you to lay. Well, best we can do is tie now.
That's true. I should get. You shouldn't have even said that because I might have not even thought about the strategy.
That's
Maybe
all right.
I'll just do that.
You're
on.
picking first for now on.
Okay.
The rest of the way out.
I picked first anyway because I wrote them down ahead of
That's
time.
true, and I didn't. All right, and you know what? To be honest with you, I don't know how much football I want to talk today. I don't want to talk about the Bengals. We'll talk about the Bengals end of the season. This team is not. This isn't even a Bengals team. They have, what is it, 15 guys on IR or 11 guys on IR right now.
Yeah.
You look out there. I mean, their offense and defense, especially their defense, isn't even the same team that you would see normally out there from the beginning of the year when they really looked like a pretty decent football team at the beginning of this year. So I'm not going to talk. We're not going to talk about them. We'll bring Andre or the Locked On Bengals writer on end of the season. We can kind of look forward to next year.
That's all we can do now.
Yeah, and go from there. So let's just go ahead and skip into my favorite game of the year. The Crosstown Shootout was last week.
Yes, it was.
Last Saturday, and it's my favorite game of the year. But you know, UC's got to win a couple. You know, to make it, if the other, you know, if both teams don't win here and there, then it's not even a rivalry. The problem is I can't even say that anymore because now they've won 2 out of the last 3.
And the overall, I think it's like 51-35.
Yeah,
you
it's
see.
overall. We talking like 10 years is my
Sure,
that's my limit.
You can spin it any way you want to
You
and
can
pick
spin it any way
pick
you want.
era.
That's exactly
pick whatever
right.
era you want.
What's that called when you choose stats to prove your point? You can choose any stat. I can find a stat to prove my point. I can almost guarantee it.
Sure.
So anyway, it sucked, man. That UC defense, if they could play defense like that every game, they could be a legit team. And Cumberland decides to score and not be scared of shooting. And that Williams kid plays like that all year. I mean,
They have so far.
right. And that UC team. I hope for UC's sake that they're better than they thought they were going to be, which is where I'm at. As an ex-fan, we knew that we weren't going to be great, losing 5 guys from last year, and the 3 seniors we got never played for Xavier before. So it's, you know, it is what it is. We lost the game. I'm excited for next year or the year after, but I really am excited for UC because that defense is something that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
It looked like it was 7-on-5.
Yep. That's been Mick's calling card. Mick Cronin's calling card is defense, and he's really got these guys playing really, really hard on defense. And we talked about it last week, and I expected that. And it was a defensive game, 62-47. I mean, they held Xavier to 47 points, and that's what you expect out of this UC team, because they're not a great scoring team, but they do have a couple guys, and I'm that Keith Williams kid, I really like him a lot.
Apparently, he was a 4-star recruit. I looked that up the other day. He was a 4-star recruit. This kid, he's a sophomore, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
This is a kid that's expected to come in and make a difference right away. So, yeah, I mean, if this kid can he's a great athlete.
Really good
He's
athlete.
an incredible athlete. And when was the last time you saw a guard that could dunk consistently for UC?
Yeah.
That's over 6 foot.
He can get tip dunks too. I mean, he's
very athletic. I really, I hope that works out for him, because they need somebody besides one guy that can score. Mm-hmm. I feel like Mick Cronin does a great job at coaching defense. The one thing Mick Cronin annoys me anyway, right? I can't stand Mick.
Me too.
I can't stand the way he just reams his guy. I feel like that team could be a much better offensive team, but they're scared to shoot, because if you miss a shot, it's almost like he pulls you off and just is irate and screaming at you on the bench. He does it 12 times a game. It looks like those guys are scared to shoot half the time. And I think, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of UC. I watch them a few times. I'll probably watch them 10 or 12 games this year, especially the crosstown shootout, which just happened. But I feel like this team could be a much better offensive team if he would just give the guys the opportunity to play. I feel like they're a little scared. That's why I'm going with this.
Have a little bit longer leash maybe, or just not be. It bothers me a lot too that he just looks insanely angry constantly. Like, he just looks like he's just so, even when he talks to his assistant coaches, it looks like he's screaming and cussing them out the whole time.
Yeah.
He might not be. It might just be his demeanor. It might just be the look. Some people just have a look. You see him from a distance and you're like, oh, I don't like that person for this reason. Yeah, just the way he looks or the way he carries himself, or whatever. And it just looks that way. It does. And I can't hear what he's saying or anything, but yeah, it bothers me a lot too that he just always looks really mad about everything all the time. Because
this team is talented. They got really good players. Justin Jennifer is the opposite of a turnover machine. I mean, the guy takes care of the ball as good as anybody, any point guard in college basketball. Kane Broom. Now that they've put him out there with Jennifer and let him be his natural 2 spot, that kid
that's another guy that can be a scorer.
He can be a scorer. I feel like since he's got to UC, when he got to UC, was it last year as a junior transfer or whatever he was? I feel like when he got to UC, he was talked about as this big scorer, but he was constantly getting yelled at, and he looks like he's reluctant to shoot. Cumberland even looks reluctant half the time. And we get that kid can play. Mm-hmm. This Williams kid can play. I hope that Mick doesn't scare Keith Williams into not being the athlete that he is.
Well, he's going to have to. They have to score, obviously. They don't have to score a lot most of the time because they're so good defensively, but they do have to score. So yes, I mean he's gonna figure that out though. If that's the reason, if they don't score a lot because they're worried about taking a shot and missing or whatever, and getting yelled at, then he's gonna have to figure that out. That's the reason. But either way, UC very good defensively. They're gonna win. They have a big test coming up. I think it's Mississippi State on Saturday.
Yep.
They're a top 25 team, so another good test for them. They had Ohio State first game. Xavier's probably the next best team they've played so far, and then Mississippi State will be another big test here coming up. So we'll see how they handle them. And it'll be interesting.
It will be, and I'm not 100% worried about Xavier. Are they a tournament team? They're going to be a borderline tournament team towards the end. This is just a team that needs time to get together. They've proven that they can play together. They took number 9 Auburn into overtime, who ended up playing really well against Duke the very next day. they have potential. They've got some good athletes. They just got to learn how to play together, and they're not there yet. It's basically like playing with 5, 6 brand new guys on the team, and they're getting you.
But from my perspective, the couple times that I actually got to see them, I got to see them once in person, and then I got to see them play that whole game against UC. They've been pretty disappointing to me. Najee Marshall in particular, I expected him to be a kind of a breakout star this year. He has not been. He shot 1 for 8, I think, from 3-point range in that game. I'm telling everybody about that. The games that I've gotten to see Xavier play, I've been pretty disappointed. And the ones that I saw them play, they do not look like a tournament team at all to me. They look very bad defensively. Najee Marshall is a guy that I expected to really break out this year, and he has not been that good. He shot the ball terrible against UC.
He was really sick for about a week.
Okay.
And I don't like to make excuses because he hasn't been as aggressive as he needs to be.
I thought Tyreek Jones would be a lot better. I like the way he rebounds the ball, but that's about it so far. I mean,
Tyreek. No,
I expected a lot more at him. I honestly did. Quentin Gooden's been all right. He's got to be your like point guard leader though. You know, he's got to be better than he's been. I don't know. I just they have enough guys back that played some minutes, some decent minutes, and a few here and there, but got some time in games last year that I thought they were going to be better than what I've seen so far. Now, I didn't get to see them play against Auburn, and I know Auburn's a good team, and they took them to overtime and all that, and they played a couple other pretty good teams. But for right now, the games that I have seen, I've watched Xavier play, they have disappointed me a lot, and I'm hoping that you're right. You're saying, you know, they just need some time to mesh a little bit better with each other.
Right,
they do have 3 guys that are playing pretty decent minutes that are seniors that are transfers this year. So maybe that's the case. And somebody's got to get into them about playing defense though, because they are not good defense.
Oh no, it's funny because Travis Steele, when he first got hired, said that he wanted this first team to be one of the best defensive teams Xavier's ever had. This is one of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen in my life. No help. I've never seen a team with that had, like, if somebody gets beat and there's a guy on the opposite block, they just stand there and watch the guy lay it in or dunk. There's no movement, there's no rotation involved whatsoever. But like I said, man, I think this is you got a brand new coaching staff. You have 5 brand new players,
except for your head coach. He's been there. Everybody's there. Everybody that's
but he's never been a head coach before. I mean, sitting in that number 2 seat and being the man is a big difference, he's got to learn. When Chris Mack's first 3 years, there was a lot of Xavier fans that didn't think he was going to work out.
I felt that way about Sean Miller.
And both of them, Sean Miller and Chris Mack, both ended up having great careers at Xavier, going on to much higher profile jobs, especially Chris Mack now. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're a Xavier fan, you just got to calm down, be patient. We've got a little spoiled over the past 3 years, and move on. 2 years from now, we got a great recruiting class coming in next year. 2 4-star recruits. We got, 2 years from now down the road, I think this could be a really fun up. And Xavier's become an up and down kind of offensive team, and I think that's what they're going to continue to be. They just got to learn how to play together.
I'm with you on that.
I apologize for losing power there for a moment. I'm still a little flustered trying to get ourselves back in where we need to be. But yeah, we had a little extra crafting going on upstairs, and some heat guns that blew some fuses. Apparently, it's on the same breaker.
Well, you did a very nice job recovering. That was actually very quick.
Yeah.
So good job on that.
So, Aaron, if you're listening right now and you're upstairs, feel free to turn the gun back on because I turned the heater off down here.
Oh, the heater. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that bad boy's probably what did it.
That was burning up my leg anyway, so I'm good.
Good. All right. So anyway, that's the Crosstown Shootout. It's over because the Xavier lost the Crosstown Shootout. So not next week, but the week after, which will be the day after Christmas, I will have to be completely clean shaven. My face will be as smooth as a baby's bottom. It's a tough loss for me because I really hate doing that. So
right. You always have a beard.
Always have some kind of beard. Yes.
As do I. So, yeah, that would have been devastating for me.
Yeah.
But I think you don't mind it as much as I would have.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can handle it.
A few times.
Yeah, I like, but twice a year I go complete. I shave it all the way down anyway, so it's not a big deal.
And I've done it twice in about the last 10 years. So
there you go.
There you go.
All right, so let's move on from here. Sticking with basketball. As I said, the Lakers are 15-5 in their last 20 games. We do like to do a little thing on this show we call the Big Three. We don't try to get too deep in the NBA, but whenever there's 3 nice stories out there, usually every week, we got 3 stories we want to get into. This week, we have 3 stories. Let's start it off. How do you want to start it off? We got 3 things going on that we want to get into. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Kevin Durant. So last week, he was one of our Big Three, too, with his comments about what he thought about the Lakers being able to attract another star to play with LeBron James. So there's been a lot of guesswork about who's going to end up being there. As soon as LeBron announced his plans to go there, everybody started talking about, okay, who's the star that's going to join him, because that's the way it goes now. You get 2 or 3 stars, big stars together now. That's the way LeBron's done it since the first time he left Cleveland.
Right.
Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, formerly until he signed the new contract. A bunch of guys that they've talked about, possibly going to play next year with LeBron. KD had some comments about that, how hard it is to play with LeBron.
Let's just say KD's not going to be a guy that goes to LA to play with LeBron.
It doesn't sound like he is. However, it does sound like he might go somewhere to play with Kyrie Irving.
It's one of 2 things. He either really likes Kyrie Irving and is trying to get on his good side so they can play together, because he does better when he's got a really good guy. Look at him with Steph Curry. Those 2 play so well together when they're out there. So, yeah, a guy handling the ball who can also score. Pull double teams off you and get you some open shots. Mm-hmm. At the same time, let you create when you need to create. So, which is and KD and LeBron would never match well because they almost play the same position. They don't play it the same way, but they play the same position. So they wouldn't mesh well on a court anyway. So he's either really good buddies with him and trying to hook up with him, or he's finding the one guy who came out and was like, forget LeBron, I'm doing this thing on my own. I got to get away from him, and is just making another hit at LeBron. And which, if that's the case, KD, get your burner accounts back out. Start tweeting, because people are going to be all over you for this.
So a little background. Kevin Durant in an interview this week, another interview. This guy, for a big star, does a lot of interviews, does a lot of podcasts.
He's on these Yahoo podcasts all the time.
A lot of guys, a lot of the big time stars. KD's been considered the second best player in the world for a while now.
Yeah,
and
well, obviously,
guys don't do that.
He doesn't see himself as he might see himself as the second best player, but to Kyrie Irving.
Right. No, I think Kevin Durant feels like he's better than LeBron. So anyway, he didn't say anything about LeBron this week, but when asked, he did say all-time greats, MJ, Kobe, and he mentioned Kyrie in that conversation too.
Yes.
Which was I think people just asked who he enjoyed watching the most or something like that, because there's no way he says Kyrie Irving is there with MJ.
And the way that I understood it was there's nobody who is as good handling the ball and scoring on their own or whatever than than Michael and Kobe. And then he also threw Kyrie in there for some reason.
Right. He said just the way they move. I don't understand why people don't realize what they're seeing in these three, especially Jordan and Kobe. Kyrie is younger than me, and that's one of my best friends, so I watch his stuff. I get to play with Steph every day, so I know his game inside and out. But watching Kobe and Mike, I'm like, how do you not realize how good these dudes are? Let me stop right there real quick. Who doesn't realize? Do people say that, especially Michael,
there is
not that
no
great,
one
or
that has ever said that?
And I think a lot of people hate Kobe, but there are a lot of people that understand that Kobe is an all-time great too.
Exactly.
And he's right up there with, the top 2 or 3, probably at least shooting guards of all time. But Durant talked about MJ and Kobe, and his quote was, "How do you not say they're by far better than anybody who's played the game?" So I've heard that plenty of times about Jordan, but Kobe, to put Michael and Kobe kind of on the same plane and then put them by far better than anybody else who's played, I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
I don't know. I don't think anybody really agrees with it. And once again, here's the thing though. This guy is on a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And this is overreaction Monday crap, because as much as KD's been getting on my nerves, this dude's sitting on a podcast, somebody asks him a question, and he just starts talking. Do you think he really thinks that? I don't think he really thinks that. I think in his head it's just coming out and it's spitting out, and these are the guys. These are the two guys I'm thinking about right off the top of my head. This is what I'm saying. I do it all the time. I have no filter with this thing in my mouth. And I say stuff, and then afterwards I'm like, I definitely don't believe anything I just said. So it happens. I think it's overreacting now. Now the fact that it's happened multiple times now, and he's like almost on like a podcast tour or something, just continuing to throw shade. It seems like throw shade at LeBron. Read between the lines. We've talked about this. That's the thing, and I think that's what you're getting at. Is I can't stand when people do that, and they read between the lines. They seek out some like deeper meaning than what's really there. Like most likely, Kevin Durant did not mean any. He was probably not thinking about LeBron at all when he said that. But a lot of people are going to say, "Wait a minute." So a lot of people are already putting LeBron right there. Put it there. Yeah. Right, probably past. A lot of people put him past Kobe. He's past Kobe. Let's be honest. Come on.
I don't know. For me, they're pretty close to me. He's not there to MJ for me, just because it's just not going to happen for me. But LeBron, for everybody, has to be one of the all-time greats, a top 3, a top 5, whatever you got, player. And he didn't mention
KD doesn't mention him. Who does he mention with him?
Kyrie, who split from LeBron, like you said before.
Exactly.
So that's interesting in a couple ways. In that way that, kind of piggybacks on what he talked about, how it's tough to play with LeBron. Although, of all the superstars that are big scorers, LeBron's probably the easiest one, because he's also a very willing passer and a very good passer.
And he is a teacher of the, like, I feel like if you're a young guy, they say that it can hurt you playing with LeBron sometimes. The guy is basketball smart as anyone I've ever seen in my life. He is a coach on the, I mean, he literally coached his last 2 teams. He coached Miami when he was there, and he coached Cleveland through the 3 coaches that he had in Cleveland.
I don't want to take anything away from Eric Spoelstra, because he's
doing really well
and
still.
Tyronn Lue was probably fine, but it was
either way. He coached those teams. He brought those guys in because he knew what he could do with them there. He could take over the team and direct it the way he wants to direct it.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is up there. He's right there with those guys. KD left him out on purpose.
I know you think that.
KD left him out on purpose.
Oh, here
he
we
did
go.
it on purpose.
Okay.
Especially bringing up Kyrie.
So and that was the other thing. So one thing is you talk about LeBron and you could try to make something out of probably nothing. But the other thing is, okay, so Durant, a lot of talk about him going somewhere else after this year. Kyrie's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
If they're such good friends and Durant is such a big fan of Kyrie and his game.
I mean, right now it seems like KD's trying to suck up to Kyrie to try to join forces in like New York or something. Could you imagine those two in New York?
So that's exactly what I was thinking.
With Porzingis there,
yeah,
with the unicorn.
I mean, that's your big three right there. And yeah,
that would be ridiculous. I kind of would feel bad for Porzingis, but I mean, at that point in time, that would be a fun three guys to watch.
You would have to try to make it work.
The best handles in the game right now. The best handles in the game in Kyrie, and I know Steph's right there with his handles, and everybody loves watching it. But dude, Kyrie Irving's handles, I got to put him in just a hair above where Steph's at.
If you saw Kyrie Irving tonight in the overtime game against Washington, the shots that he made at the end of that game,
unbelievable.
Oh my goodness!
He did it with it when everybody watched him in Cleveland when he was with LeBron, and when they won that title, that was Kyrie. Kyrie was a big part of the reason that Cleveland won a championship.
Sure.
Obviously, he hit the three in Game 6, but this kid is the shots he made, the circus shots, and they're not. You can't call them bad shots because he makes them all the time. I mean, you can call them bad shots, but it's like Steph.
But these guys
put these things up, but they have such control of their body and the ball at all times. It's insane.
And they practice it constantly.
Yes. Standing on top of two balls and dribbling, which
right.
I still don't understand what that does. Did you see the Kyrie where he this guy can
the
Michael Jackson do the Michael Jackson lean and almost be sideways.
There's some
dude.
trick.
He's got mad abs, dude. That's all abs.
There's no way. That's not abs. Your ankles, the whole top of your body, all the weight can't be held up by your ankles like that.
Little Uncle Drew magic.
All right.
That's what it was.
You and KD on the Kyrie magic bandwagon.
No way, man. I'm on LeBron. I'm LeBron all the way. KD can go. I can't stand KD. Get off your burner accounts. Get off Twitter. Stop going on all these stupid podcasts and running your mouth. Go play basketball.
No, please keep doing that.
Yeah, because you like it.
I like talking about it.
Forget that. That's ridiculous.
All right. So the next thing. Okay, so all the guys that we just talked about play on very, very good teams.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the worst teams in the league.
Chicago Bulls.
I think statistically the second worst team.
I'm very interested in talking about this because this is a big three thing for us real quick because this team is terrible. There's no reason to talk about the Bulls, but something they fired Fred Hoiberg, the mayor at Iowa State or wherever he was at before that. They fire him and they hire his assistant coach and they take off the interim tag right off the bat and they're like, he is our coach. And this team, this team can't stand him.
So Jim Boylan took over. December 3rd is when Fred Hoiberg, who you just said his name 50 times and I forgot it like 10 seconds later, he got fired December 3rd. Jim Boylan took over. Jim Boylan. So what's the big thing when a coach takes over any program on any level that has had a lot of losing going on? The buzzword is always culture, right?
Oh,
they need a culture change.
Yep.
That's now it's cliche. But it's also true, and it is true in this situation too. All right, so they've been losing for a while now. The Bulls have been bad for a long time. Well, since they kind of broke up the Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah.
Right. It's been since Rose became on his own.
It's been a while. It's been 5-6 years or something since the Bulls were good. Now, this team is maybe all time bad, but Jim Boylan took over, and he wanted to do a complete 180. All right. Now, Hoiberg was fired for what was said to be a lack of energy, passion, enthusiasm, stuff like that.
They sucked. The team sucked.
You're right, and two of their best players have been out, actually, that haven't even played yet.
Markkanen's finally back.
Markkanen's finally just now back, yes. Chris Dunn's been out. But either way, they weren't a good team. So he said, complete 180, we got to change everything here. Jim Boylan, 3 of the first 4 days he was their head coach, 2.5-hour practices, all right, which is not normal anymore in the NBA.
Right.
There are certain coaches that used to do that. Pat Riley and certain
it is what
guys
it is. When you suck, you need to practice more.
He had, very, very long practices, extra wind sprints, military-style push-ups, a lot of conditioning stuff that were, unorthodox nowadays.
Sure.
And the players started getting very
They came out and said
aggravated
they
by
were
that.
done. They were trying basically to schedule a mutiny against this dude and walk out.
So let
me just tell you something.
Go.
Play better. Play better. You don't want to do all this crap? Play better.
It's a lot easier said than done because not everybody's going to win all the time. When your roster is set up the way it's set up, I mean, they have some young talent, but it's young and it's raw and it's not ready to win. They're not ready to win yet.
That's fine, but they don't look like
play
they play
defense.
together
Right.
at all. So yeah, get him out there. You know what? This might be what he wanted, not what he wanted to do, but get them all pissed off. Get them together in something. Get them together wanting to leave or whatever. Maybe they finally start playing as a team a little bit better.
Well, trying not to skip too far ahead.
Sorry.
But ultimately, no, I'm saying I'm not trying to skip too far ahead. But ultimately, Zach LaVine, probably their best player at this point, did say, "Look, good, bad, or ugly, this was probably good for us."
Yeah.
After being, I think,
So real
probably
quick,
one of the
that
guys
tells you how good, how bad this team is. That Zach LaVine's the best player in your team. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's a 3, 4, 5. This dude could come off the bench on a lot of low playoff teams. He'd be coming off the bench.
Probably.
But he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
But he shouldn't be the best player on your team. And Markkanen probably is the best player on their team, and he's back. But
Wendell Carter Jr., they've got some guys like we said, they're young. It's gonna take some time.
right.
Now you can't run an entire. That's the thing. You can't run a whole season that way. You can't, because you're gonna run guys into the ground and they're gonna be done.
But he wanted to set, like you said, set a tone.
Yes.
Get this thing going.
And that's what he did. And
He's an old cat going old school.
Right. And it sounds like he did that for about a week, about 7 to 10 days or whatever is how long he's been at the helm now. About 9 days, I guess. And maybe it worked. We'll see if it kind of, more than anything, probably just got their attention. Right. Look, we've got to change things drastically. And we've got to do it right now if we want to start winning games. But it did get ugly. It got really ugly.
They were literally going to walk out.
They had a group text. The players had a group text to boycott the next day, last Sunday's practice. And they almost got it together. And there were a couple voices of reason. I think Robin Lopez is one of the few veterans on that team.
Right.
And he said, look, that's just going to look really unprofessional. I know we're all unhappy, but we can't do that. It's just it's gonna make us look even worse than what's going on.
Which
here.
is difficult to look worse than they do, but it would have made them worse than they are now.
Right. I'm glad there were some guys that had their heads on, straight enough to say, wait a minute, let's think about this. It's, what's this gonna do? This is just gonna make everything worse.
So here's what's gonna happen. This team's gonna get healthy, and they're gonna win, I don't know, whatever, 5 out of their next 15 games, and they're going to double their win
total. As good as
it's
going to get.
Yeah, and they're going to double their win total, and this dude's going to come out and be like, "See, I told you, this is going to, this is what's helping the team." No, man,
I think
your team's not healthy. They're not talented. That's why this team sucks.
And I think he knows that. I don't think he expects them to turn around and start being a contending team right now or anything. But he did, and it sounds like he's kind of changed it a little bit. That practice that they were going to boycott, instead, they all showed up 15 minutes late. It was supposed to be at noon. They all showed up at 12:15, and then instead of a long 2.5-hour practice, it ended up being a players, coaches, and management meeting session. So they
Air
had
your
meetings.
dirty laundry. Everybody get out. Say what you
right.
got to say about practice. You run us too much. We work too hard.
They had we can get into a whole discussion about the old school, new school mentality and all the different things.
Baby these kids. You got to baby these kids.
Generation
nowadays, man.
gap stuff, right? But without getting off on a
Tangent.
could be a really long conversation about that. They did almost boycott, and that ended up being like a shoot around and meetings, basically, to kind of set things straight and say, okay, let's take a look at what we're doing here. You're working us way too hard, because that really is. I mean, you can't. It's such a grind. They had a 3 out of 4. They had 3 games in 4 days, which they've changed the schedule to avoid as many of those as possible. But They did have 3 games in 4 days. So their one game was after a back-to-back before that third game, and he had a long practice on that day, which isn't done anymore. He had immediately after a loss to the Pacers, he had a film session. He had an immediate film session right after the game.
Why not? Let's change it. I understand changing the culture. Go ahead. It's not
right.
something that would last for a whole season, but go ahead. Set your mark. Set the tone. Set the tone. Listen, this is unacceptable, and if we're going to continue to play like this is what's going to happen. You don't have to win. We just need to play better.
Yeah.
Like I said, just play better.
Much easier said than done. But yes, the other thing that the players did try to do is reach out to the Players Union, the NBA Players Association, and
find out if he was breaking any rules. He might have been.
He wasn't.
He wasn't? There
wasn't.
you go.
They
Good.
said he wasn't.
Yeah. Push it up there, buddy.
Right.
Push it up. Keep it going.
It sounds like it was probably
We're talking about practice.
Yeah, it was a good idea. Thanks, AI. It was a good idea to do something to really get their attention, as long as that he levels it off. And look, I think that's still a good thing. Once in a while, you go on a 10-game losing streak or something. Guess what? Instead of getting your off day tomorrow, we're practicing.
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
You're not going to like it.
Yeah.
We're practicing. We need it. Obviously, you can't do it every day, but like we said,
set a tone.
You got to make something happen.
Big 3, number 3. Let's finish this NBA up. What do we got? What's our third of the big 3 in the NBA?
We mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast. What I know, you're expecting the Los Angeles Lakers to be in the finals wrong, and I am expecting
I'm not expecting the Lakers to be in the finals. I know the Lakers
you're
will
expecting
be in the
them
finals.
to win the finals.
Yes.
Well, I am not. I'm expecting the Golden State Warriors to be in the finals in the West.
to make it to the finals. Toronto's going to give them a run for their money.
So to run, and right now it looks, because they have the best record in the NBA, it looks like Toronto is going to come out of the East. Although we talk about Milwaukee, talk about Philadelphia.
Before we get into that, because Milwaukee's really good, and I like watching this Milwaukee team play. Giannis this kid is just becoming better and better and better, and Milwaukee's really good. Nobody wants to talk about Milwaukee basketball. Kawhi Leonard. There was a lot of people who were saying that he was a system guy, and being in there with Pop, he became a system guy. This dude went out and he is proving. I sit out a year, it doesn't matter. He is proving that he can lead a team with or without Pop, obviously, and he is putting himself into he's been there, I guess, for the last 2 years, but he's the MVP of the league to me right now.
I totally agree. And shortly before I came over here for this podcast, I saw a prominent NBA writer, his top 5, his like MVP ladder right now, his kind of power rankings for the MVP.
Yeah.
Number 5, Kawhi Leonard. Number 5.
That's insane. I don't know how how he can be that low. They're currently up 53-37. Thanks,
Yes.
Joe Leonard, for the update on the game. He's got it right there. So I mean,
By the way,
they're tough.
they're up.
They were really good last year.
They were really good. They were really good the last couple of years. They were the number 1 seed in the East last year, and they got rid of their best.
Just
they
LeBron
got rid of their
only
best
played
player, brought in a new best player.
LeBron
and
had
they're
3
even
teams.
better.
Yeah.
And they're even better than they were the last couple of years. So they're, by the way,
They
they're up.
fired the coach of the year.
They fired the
Literally, they fired the coach of the year.
Hired a new guy, a very interesting guy, Nick Nurse.
Literally fired the coach of the year. Sorry. Anyway, continue.
By the way, what's encouraging about Toronto is they're beating the Golden State Warriors by 16 points right now. Kawhi Leonard's not playing in this game. He hurt his hip the other night, and he's not playing in this game. But their supporting cast is actually very good. A lot of guys that still a lot of people don't know about, Siakam and Fred VanVleet, and a few other guys that you hear about, but you're like
Fred VanVleet,
okay.
Probably my favorite name in the NBA.
Yeah,
Fred VanVleet.
Yep, great college player, and he's been
so difficult to say.
He's been excellent
Fred
off the
Fred VanVleet. Say that thing 10 times fast. Just
Fred
give
Van
it a go.
Vliet, Fred VanVleet, 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 Fred VanVleet. How many times
10.
was that?
No, that was like 12 or 13. Congratulations.
I kind of messed up a little bit.
You
but
ran right through that. It made me look a little goofy. Good work. Never mind. I take it back.
No, anyway, they have a great bench again this year, and they've got some guys. They've got some other guys that have stepped up. Kyle Lowry's played well. He usually does, and then kind of folds in the playoffs. Yeah. But he's played well. He's played even a little bit better than he has in the past. So anyway, they've got a great thing going right now. Milwaukee, by the way, lost to the Pacers tonight. The Pacers looks like for the second year in a row are a team that
this Miles Turner kid
figure out how in the world they're so good.
I don't know, but Miles. So I got Miles Turner on my fantasy team, which you're going to be able to name whatever you want because I can't pick an NFL game right. Anyway, this Miles Turner kid, he is playing his rear end off. He is fun to watch. That Pacers team is doing what they've done for the last 6 years. They bring together. They play so well together. They get a core guys, 7 guys, and they rotate in and out consistently. And they just play hard, and they can match up with just about anybody. They play defense. Mm-hmm. They have some guys that can put the ball in the basket. It's
but not a lot of household names. Victor Oladipo is their best player, and he I think was an All-Star last year.
Yes, he was.
But
and turned it on. I mean, he made a name for himself in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have guys, Domantas Sabonis, Bojan Bogdanovic has been awesome. Miles Turner, Thaddeus Young.
You're naming names nobody's ever heard of.
Right, and but they just play very well together. They're tough. They play defense, like you said. It's just they just do what they need to do to win. And maybe Nate McMillan doesn't get enough credit for the coaching job that he's done the last 2 years. But
I thought they were done when Lance Stevenson left.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we said we weren't going to do with the NBA. We were going to keep it as the big 3 and only talk about the big 3 topics and not get into minute.
But I love this
stuff.
Though.
I do too. I'd rather talk about this kind of stuff anyway. It doesn't matter if you're listening. You're listening. If you've turned us off, then we're still going to talk about it because it's not about who's listening. It's about what we want to talk about.
And listen, speaking of that, I know it's the off season right now, but I get so excited for the baseball winter meetings every year.
We talked about this really last week. The winter meetings are one of my favorite times.
All right, we'll go real fast because we're at about an hour now.
We're at an hour. We've been going an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes here lately. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
So we got at least another half hour then.
There you go.
All right. No. So I got to maybe the coolest experience of my entire life, sports-wise, was attending the winter meetings when it was in Tennessee, in the most famous city in Tennessee that everybody Nashville. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know why I kept thinking about Knoxville or
why not? Knoxville is famous. I don't know if it's as famous as Nashville.
I've been to Nashville a couple of times, and it's a fun place and everything. It was in Nashville.
I don't see you having a ton of fun in Nashville.
Well, we spent the weekend together there. Actually, like a few weeks, I think, after I went to the winter meetings that year for a bachelor party.
We did,
and it was fun. I did have fun.
I don't remember most of that.
I'll tell you all about it. Everyone called me Rogers the entire weekend. That's all that happened. That's all that happened the whole weekend. Because we went to the Vanderbilt game. We did go to the
Vanderbilt Florida game, and Vanderbilt's quarterback was Aaron Rodgers' little brother. And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody always says he looks like Aaron Rodgers. Adam looks exactly like Aaron Rodgers' little brother. I mean, it's insane. So
I recently found out was like the Bachelor or something at one point. maybe.
Dude, you
a couple
could be the
years ago or
Bachelor
something.
100%.
No,
you're a stylish looking dude, man. Good
No,
looking
I'm just
man.
saying I had no idea, and apparently he
Beautifully
was
groomed beard.
that, and I feel, and then I heard that like
Good head of lettuce on you.
through that show, I have an all right head of lettuce, yeah. But anyway, through that show, I heard like that Aaron Rodgers came out as like a really horrible guy, and he like disowned his family for no reason. So anyway, that's not at all.
That had to do with his girlfriend. Forget about that. That's all.
Anyway,
it's a whole other story. Anyway,
the baseball winter
meetings.
Good segue. So
you got to go, which was awesome. You got to meet Bruce Bochy.
I met Bruce Bochy at this expo. It was just like 3 days of rubbing elbows with all of like the all-time greats, all the managers, general managers,
and they're
owners.
just walking around.
They're
every
just
day.
walking around. We shared the same space, and it was all the big the baseball broadcasters and writers,
Sure.
Buster Olney and Tim Kirkjian and all those guys. I'm sharing elevators and escalators with those guys, and I'm standing there.
Good work on Buster Olney, because that dude's name is goofy. I feel like his name should be Only, like Buster Only. Doesn't that sound right? But it's Only.
It's Only. I don't know.
I feel like they flipped the L and the N around. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So I got to see Buster Only and Tim Kirkland and all kinds of guys, but that was just a really cool experience. But I love all the rumors that come out, and I normally don't like this stuff that like is all like smoke and no fire,
yeah.
but I still get excited about it, like it's just fun to follow because it's so rampant for 3 or 4 days while all these baseball people are in the same place, because that's where a lot of the offseason moves do get done.
Sure, because they're
Free
sitting in
agent
front of
signings,
each other,
trades,
talking to each other.
Right. And it's just fun because it's so active in the middle of, the dead of winter, in the middle of the off season in baseball.
The thing I can't stand about the winter meetings is all these people coming out and throwing these crazy rumors out, like Noah Syndergaard being talked about going to the Yankees, which could happen, sure. But there's so many just crazy. There's so many of these that come out throughout this next week and dissipate into nothing.
Sure.
Because they don't end up happening. I don't want to hear about. I'm done with silly rumors. I want the real deal. Real deal move. We're Reds fans. We're Cincinnati podcast. Tanner Roark to the Reds for Tanner
Rainey. Tanner Rainey. Yes. I was really excited about that. I thought a little more of Roark than I after that I read. He's really been kind of an average pitcher.
He's
the last couple
100%
years.
an average pitcher. That's why the Reds picked him up. We only pick up average.
But an upgrade for the Reds right now.
Sure.
Right?
Average would be upgrade for the Reds, yes.
And really his career numbers are pretty good. He's 64-54 with like a 3.50 something ERA.
Yeah.
In his career, which is actually very good for a whole career. He's been around 6 years or whatever. But he is going to be another guy that's just a better option than Homer Bailey and whoever the fifth guy was going to be.
Instead of talking about an average player, let's talk about Homer Bailey. Let's talk about
he's in one of these trade rumors that you hate and excited about it because the idea
of Homer Bailey leaving the Reds makes me giddy inside. I feel like I'm in Peter Pan. I got happy thoughts and I can fly.
So part of this rumor, it's the rumor is with the Dodgers. The Reds and Dodgers are talking about a trade that would involve Bailey and essentially would his $28 million that the Reds still owe him. Basically, the Dodgers would take that on, but would kind of be like an option to buy prospects. Like that's we're going to take that on, but you got to give us like all these prospects and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But it would be the one that I heard specifically was a possibility of Tucker Barnhart, which I hate.
I hate to see him lose.
I hate to see him go.
I can see if they still thought they were in that Real Mutu deal.
Why would they be? I don't.
Doesn't make any sense because
you
have Tucker Barnhart, who honestly is maybe not comparable offensively, but if you add his offense and defense together,
I take Tucker
and
Barnhart.
he hit the ball really well last year. He hit the
did.
ball great, and he's a Gold Glove catcher.
He's a Gold Glove catcher, which is the most important
the
thing
most
at that position.
important position to be a Gold Glover at is at catch,
Thank you.
which is center field is important, but who cares? Billy Hamilton.
We're going to get into that right away?
I know that I'm skipping through. Sorry, go through this trade rumor.
Really quick is the other thing is, so part of this trade, they're talking about Yasiel Puig coming to the Reds.
Yes, Puig, lick your bat. I love lick your bat, Puig.
I am not interested in Yasiel Puig at all whatsoever. I have no use for him. Yes, he can hit home runs, especially in Great American Ballpark. He can be, he might end up being a fan favorite or whatever, but he has a lot of baggage too. In his past,
I'm not a fan of bringing Puig onto this team.
I'm not.
At all.
And I don't think it makes any sense. I think your focus has to be on pitching and almost only pitching right now. You might acquire some other guys like in a trade like this, and that's the only thing that I'm good with this trade about is because they're also talking about a left-hander from the Dodgers. What's his name?
Did you write it down?
That I wrote down. Yes.
In your Bible?
Yeah, but I wrote like 3 pages of notes today, so so I gotta find it, and it is. It's Alex Wood.
Alex Wood.
Okay,
honestly, Alex Wood would be a great starter. I would love to have Alex Wood. That kid pitched
that.
great last year. He was their number 3 starter on there, and pitched well in the playoffs. That's the acquisition that the Reds need to make.
Yes,
that's what makes this team. Listen, the Reds aren't going to be a playoff team next year. We know that. We thought before the season last year, we thought in 2 years possibly we had an option. Now we know next year is not an option to get in there. We have the offense to do it. We have no idea who our starting 5 is. We have no idea who they are. So
we have an idea about a couple of them.
Okay, we got an idea about like a Luis Castilla and a couple other guys, but having Alex Wood in there is that veteran who you're going to throw out there every 5 days, and he's going to go 6 to 7 innings, 6 innings average, and keep you in a game.
Yep.
You don't have that with any starter that you have right now. Literally, none of them you have the confidence in to do that every time they go out.
Right. Yep. He would be the best starter, at least on paper, right away. DeSclafani has that potential. Luis Castillo has that potential. You still have your Tyler Malleys that were really good at times and then kind of, were really bad too. You still have the possibility of Amir Garrett, and Michael Lorenzen still wants to be a starter. One of those guys panning out, maybe. But yes, Alex Wood would be your top guy. If you can get Roark and Wood within a week or within a couple of days of each other, then this team really. I'm not saying
you're going to be a playoff team,
right,
but you're not going to be a bottom of the barrel team anymore. You'll be. I'm not.
Maybe still because
I hate to say fighting for a wild card, but you'll be in the talk longer.
Yeah,
you'll be there longer.
Sure,
or closer to.
Sure, you'll beat more. Hopefully, you'll beat more teams that you should beat. Now, the National League Central is actually a very good. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, Milwaukee won more games than any team in the National League last year, and the Cubs are the Cubs. They just won a World Series 2 years ago. So the Cardinals just got Paul Goldschmidt. Guess what? The Pirates are actually pretty good. They keep picking up. They pick up somebody. They just got Chris Archer at the end of last year or whatever. Yeah. I mean, this is a really good division, so it's going to be tough to compete for a while, but. You have to make moves.
Can I tell you one thing? A big move they made that's going to help this team. Before I get too excited, here's what I want to do. Billy Hamilton. We've had this discussion. If you've been listening to the podcast, Adam was a big Billy Hamilton apologist and loved his defense, and his defense made him unbelievable. And the guy couldn't hit his way out of a wet paper bag, but. So, if you can't score runs, who cares if you can run around the bases fast? Because you can't get on base. Anyway, besides the point, the Reds had an opportunity this time last year in the winter meetings. It was said they were in talks with multiple teams about Billy Hamilton, trading Billy Hamilton. They had an opportunity to get something for Billy Hamilton. And ownership, this is what needs to change in the Reds organization. Ownership wouldn't sign off on it. Until the ownership of the Reds decides that they're not fans and they're trying to win and make real business moves. They could have got something for Billy Hamilton when they knew he couldn't hit before, and they know he still can't. Now he leaves, goes somewhere else. Nobody wanted to trade for him this year. Nobody wanted him. So he's gone. He's in Kansas City. He'll come off the bench. He'll be a defensive replacement. Who's out there? Kane or whoever's in center out there. He'll be a defensive replacement at the end of games. Try to steal. He'll pinch runner and stay in for defense. Something like that. You could have got something for him. That is why this organization is never going to be where they need to be until ownership lets the front office do what they need to do. Sign off. Let them be the guys that make the decisions. We could have got, even if it was not a bag of balls, it's something we could have got for him. I get so excited and irritated.
Bob Castellini and the Castellini family, who own the team, they have put the Reds in a better position than they were for years as far as ownership, because they opened their wallets more so than anybody had before, especially Mark Schott,
and especially with the stadium. Their Great American Ballpark, they put a ton of money into there. It is a beautiful place to go to a game,
and they continue to do it every year.
They do, and I love that about them. Don't get me wrong. That's what I want them to focus on.
But they do.
You hire a general manager and all these front office guys to do a job. Get out of their way.
When your focus is on, we want to keep Billy Hamilton because he's a lot of fans' favorite, and ridiculous. We have to bring people to the ballpark. People want to see Billy Hamilton play.
Didn't work this year.
It didn't work this year. It did not.
Didn't work.
And I agree with you. I know our ideas about his value.
We could talk about this and go in circles for hours.
He's gone now.
He is.
He's gone. There is going to be a hole defensively big time in center field for sure. We have no idea who's going to take that spot right now. They have talked about, look, if Puig comes, he might end up being the center fielder. They talked to the Braves about Ender Inciarte, who I would love. I would get over Billy Hamilton quickly because Billy Hamilton was
I'd get over Billy Hamilton quickly if we hired anybody that could potentially start on half the teams in
Not anybody
baseball.
for me. Not anybody for me. It would have to be Inciarte or somebody really pretty elite like that, because he's definitely a much better hitter than Billy Hamilton. He may not be quite the same on the base path as Billy Hamilton, and I still do think that counts for something. But
you got to get on the bases to be able to make it worth your while.
I love you. I'm so tired of hearing that, not from you, from everybody, that argument, because it doesn't matter. Like we already had this conversation. We already had this conversation.
Let's skip past.
Billy Hamilton was a Gold Glove center fielder for the last 3 years. The only reason he didn't win it was because Ender Inciarte won it all 3 years of the last 3 years. And he was in Arizona, and then he went to Atlanta. But so if they got him, who is a Gold Glove center fielder and can hit the ball, I'm totally good with getting rid of Billy Hamilton.
Of course.
I agree with you, though. They had an opportunity before to get something for him. They didn't do it. They've done that several times with other players too.
It happens.
It drives
a lot.
me crazy.
If you're not focused 3 years from now, and you're focused on ticket sales next year, and you're holding up your front office from 3 years from now, making moves to be a better baseball team, then you're not doing your job.
Raisel Iglesias. Raisel Iglesias is another example.
You're exactly right.
The entire season last year,
he should have been gone. The day of the you had the biggest potential of getting something for him at the trade deadline last year than anywhere else. And what happened? No, we are keeping. What did they do? They re-signed him. They re-signed him for not a ton of money, but for a bunch of money that they could have used somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Instead, they could have got something for him, a really good pitching prospect or something for him. Kept that money, put that towards another starting pitcher. Now it just seems so easy. I don't understand it.
Thrown that money at a Dallas Keuchel or one of the top free agent pitchers this year.
We might just turn this into a baseball podcast for the next couple weeks, because I could do this for a while. I could get irritated about the Reds for a long time.
Well, I either way. I'm excited that they at least made a move. And look, all the everybody there at the winter meetings has been talking about what they've been talking about all off season long. The Reds are really, really, really active right now. Especially, they've had that intention all winter, and at these meetings they are, living up to that, because they're in a lot of people's ears, and that's where those reports that don't end up coming true, but that's where all those reports, because those guys are constantly talking like, I see you. You're sitting we walk in the bathroom together and we both go in a stall next to each other, which I would never do, but
have a conversation while you're pooping.
Hey, Chris, I like what you're doing out there in Oakland. I really like Jed Lowry. What do you think? What do you think if I throw Rysel Iglesias and Scooter Gennett at you for Jed Lowry?
How great would it be to be in the stall in between that?
It would be terrible. I couldn't do any sort of business unless I'm just going in there to take a number one.
I would wait until after each one finished their sentence and try to fart as loud as I could.
But you couldn't talk, because something would come out, because obviously
you're sitting on a John, so go ahead and let it go. Who cares? Way better than in your car like I did earlier Monday.
You're right. Way better.
If you're just tuning in, I crapped my pants while I was driving.
Make sure you listen to the first 10 minutes 20 minutes of the podcast. Yes.
I crapped my pants while I was driving. Really fun.
And I cut my own toes on my toenails,
yes,
which doesn't even come close to comparing to your story. So
I feel bad for trumping
it. No, it was
design.
That was impressive.
So anyway, that's what I feel about the winter meetings. That's what I feel about Billy Hamilton. That's what I feel about the Reds front office. And I hope at some point this team, I would hate to be the general manager for the Reds, because it's got to be difficult to do your job. I mean, Walt Jocketty all but said it. It was hard to do his job with the ownership that would hold him back.
I feel like it's probably not as bad as,
as where?
Because how many times?
As what in Dallas and in football?
I don't think Bob Castellini is.
He's not bad. He's not a
right.
bad guy. He's not a bad guy. I don't think him as an owner.
But
I just want the ownership to get out.
But I don't think he's dipping too deep into it. Something like that, yes. If he said nope, we have to keep Billy Hamilton next year to sell tickets, then yes, bad move. But I don't feel like that's happening all the time. Like, how?
If it happens once, that's too many.
Okay. And yeah, that was a bad.
And it's happened at least twice, because Iglesias could have got traded at the end of the year last year. Now,
yeah,
I say that,
but that wasn't
necessarily
that
may not have been ownership. That could have
right.
just been that front office really didn't feel like they were getting enough for him. I'm fine with that. Then why give him all this money now?
Yeah, I wasn't on board with that. Unless it's like a sign and trade kind of thing, which I don't know that they really do that much in baseball. But if you sign, maybe they could still trade him in the next few days or anytime this offseason.
Who's going to want him now?
Well, anybody that needs a closer. And you can't afford Craig Kimbrell, who's a free agent.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would spend big money on a closer, but if you're a Red Sox, Yankees, and you have basically everything but a closer, but a reliable closer, then fine. Right, they do.
Both do.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're a team like that, where you have pretty much everything except a reliable end of the game guy that gets those outs, then okay, maybe you pay. And you're a Chicago, L.A., New York team that has all that money to spend on something like that. Okay, totally fine. Pay Craig Kimbrell. Pay whoever you want. Pay Lee Smith, Hall of Famer Lee Smith. Pay whoever.
We don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time.
We're almost at an hour and a half.
Anyway, okay, so we'll shut it down here. But anyway, I'm really excited still. The winter meetings, I think they go on maybe like just another day or something. I want to say maybe tomorrow's the last day, but I get so excited even about the rumor. I normally don't like the rumors, and if it's not true, don't bother me with it. But during the winter meetings, there's just something about just all the excitement.
It brings baseball back for a week.
It does.
It brings
it's just so exciting. There's been a bunch of signings and trades already and stuff, and Unfortunately, Paul Goldschmidt was one of them that went to the Cardinals, but still, it's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just fun to hear
It is.
about, especially when it comes to the Reds. Like, you're like, oh, man, they're going to make a move. Like,
And this year seems like because they haven't in the last couple of years.
Right.
So it's nice to see that they are into making a move.
Yep.
They've already made one. Let's make some more.
yep.
All
I
right.
think they're going to.
I think they will too. I think they will too. All right, so we're the Nosebleed Sports Podcast. If you are friends with us on Facebook at the Nosebleed Sports Podcast on Facebook, we appreciate it. Get out there, check us out on YouTube every Thursday morning. We'll have it uploaded onto YouTube, on a CastBox, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast. If you listen to podcasts on something else, just shoot us a comment on this or somewhere else, and we'll see what we can do to get it uploaded onto that. Subscribe to whatever platform you listen to. Leave a comment. If you've pooped your pants before, whether you're driving or just standing there and trusted a fart too much, and it happened to you the same way it happened to me on Monday, let me know. Let's band together. Let's get together, and let's not be embarrassed about dropping a deuce in your drawers.
Chris is looking for a support group.
I need
okay?
a support group. That's the truth.
Somebody
Help a brother out.
Help a brother out. I don't know. All right, good luck, because I don't think anybody's going to admit to that except you.
I got no problem with it. All right, well, we appreciate you listening. Don't forget to turn your headlights on.